no offense to Kevin Bacon, but when it comes to degrees of separation between artists and actors and icons and movers and shakers, nobody is more entwined with the cultural fabric of the past 30 years than Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, whatever you call him. His fingerprints are all over music and television and fashion and fragrances, even the liquor that we've been drinking for decades. And even if you don't know Diddy from Puff Daddy, no judgment, boo. He's had many acts. But he's more than likely made an impression on everybody watching right now. I don't care what your age is. Maybe you'll never forget when he dated J-Lo. That was a big thing, quarter century ago. Trust me. Before Ben Jen, it was Diddy Jen. But then it was Puff Jen, actually. He launched the Vote or Die in 2004, became a really big deal there for a lot of people. He also threw those star-studded white parties in the Hamptons where everybody who was anybody went. Maybe you saw these pictures, maybe you were there. Maybe you drank that Ciroc vodka that he was shilling forever, right? Maybe you wore a pair of his jeans. Sean John was a heck of a label. And maybe Bad Boy Entertainment opened your eyes and ears to a world that you never knew existed. Now, of course, Sean Combs' legacy, just like his liberty, his fortune, and his future, that all hangs in the balance of a sex crimes trial underway right now in New York federal court. But those connections and Diddy's impact not only are not fading away, they are under the spotlight like never before, in the last place you might expect. Jury selection. Like, it's never exciting, jury selection. Oh, it's boring. You wait till the panel's picked and then the good stuff starts. No, not in this case. Jury selection's been amazing. The candidates are being asked about their own connections to or impressions of an array of celebrities, and with no explanation why, at least not yet. The parlor games have begun, my friends. Everybody is trying to connect the dots between the shiny, famous names and the beleaguered rap star Diddy and the charges. Just today, the name Robert Downey Jr. came up in court. When a prospective juror said that he knew a Robert Downey in high school, it was kind of funny. But Robert Downey, the actor, and Diddy apparently do know each other and have been seen together in public. But Robert Downey Jr. reportedly never attended Diddy's parties. So if he does figure into this trial somehow, it's going to be a lot of news to a lot of us. Mike Myers, another favorite Canadian, favorite actor, favorite comedian. He is on the jury question list as well. And that, too, is a tongue-wagging mystery. Unless it's about the quick jab at Diddy that he took in the Austin Powers movie? I don't know. Doesn't seem likely. Rolling Stone magazine reports that actor Michael B. Jordan made the list because Diddy once threatened him for dating Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Same goes for the rapper Kid Cudi. USA Today says that Cassie's lawsuit claimed that Diddy threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Music producer Dallas Austin may have made the list for his ties to the late Kim Porter, who was mom to 4 of Diddy's kiddies. And singer Dawn Richard from the girl group Danity Kane, she is likely on the famous people list because she's one of Diddy's many accusers. Not in his criminal case, but she sued him civilly last year, claiming that she saw him abuse Cassie, his girlfriend, and that she herself was sexually assaulted, deprived of food, and cheated out of money that she was owed. Guess what? You're going to hear from her attorney in just a hot minute. But first, I want to bring in NewsNation correspondent Caitlyn Becker, who's outside the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Caitlyn's been covering this case gavel to gavel. Okay, first of all, let's just start with the drip, drip, drip of all the names, because the internet is really on fire. What happened today?
You know, Ashleigh, a lot of the same things. You get asked these same exact questions about these celebrities with no real context as to why. And you really hit the nail on the head a minute ago when you said jury selection's kind of boring, but not in the Diddy case. Most prospective jurors who come into jury selection have never heard of the defendant, let alone have an opinion of them. But what we heard today was prospective jurors who were excluded because they flat out said they don't like Diddy going into it. They don't have a favorable opinion. One guy said he believed Diddy has enough money to buy his way out of jail. So those jurors immediately excluded. There was also some laughs in the courtroom today from the attorneys and the judge when one prospective juror said that he couldn't guarantee that he wouldn't be able to smoke marijuana for all 8 to 10 weeks of the trial. So that person was excluded. But by the end of the day, they've added 10 more people to that pool of 45 that they're trying to get, because they're not impaneling the jury, like I said, typically as how we think of it. They're going to have a pool of 45 people who are acceptable prospective jurors. They expect that to be done tomorrow. And from that pool of 45, that is where they're going to choose their 12 jurors and their 6 alternates, Ash.
You realize that that marijuana guy has just set the bar for every other person out there who wants to get out of jury duty. You just tell the judge that you're a dope smoker and you can't give it up. I can't believe that was a reason to be like punted, but I can. Okay, the other thing I didn't quite understand, especially on the, the day after the Met Gala, the toast of the town and costumery, Diddy showed up in the same clothes. He's wearing the same outfit. Do we expect that this is a ploy? Is this a mistake that lawyers forgot to bring him a fresh change? What was going on there?
Same outfit really surprised me, too. I expected maybe a version of that outfit, but not the same exact one. It is a little dressed down for court, so I don't know if maybe we're going to see a suited Diddy when it comes time for the trial to actually begin come Monday. But there aren't any cameras in the courtroom. There's no cameras. There's no still cameras. There's no photography. There's no video cameras. And he doesn't walk in and out, so we don't really see him. So maybe that had something to do with it. He's not kind of performing for anyone in there, but is he, though? His cousin was in there again, the one that walks in wearing the Free Puffy shirt, and they seem to kind of nod and non-verbally communicate with each other in court today, Ash, when he was going in and out, and every time he could turn around to the gallery, they seemed like they had some sort of understanding and some signals. But tomorrow is going to be really interesting. Tomorrow is when they're going to use those preemptory challenges where both sides get to say no, 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 no to the jurors they don't want, and they've saved all of them for tomorrow.
And they don't have to say why. That's the magic of peremptories. You just get to wave your wand, and it doesn't matter what your reason, except it can't be if they're in a protected class. And there are ways to find that out. Caitlyn, good job. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ash.